We can easily stop that. Okay, you can try your best to refurbish the ship, but we stop you from getting access to the ship. Then this thing will just be over.
I don't think the United States is prepared to already to have a head-on collision, military speaking, with China in the South China Sea or even in the Taiwan Strait. That's why it's used as a proxy, and my country is being used as a pawn or a proxy at this time.
The US already facing defeated by the Taliban in Afghanistan, by Russia in Ukraine, and by the Houthis recently in the Red Sea, is in absolutely no shape to take on China in the South China Sea. They can't afford something blowing up in an election year.
Welcome everyone to Global Times Roundtable on tensions in the South China Sea. Could a conflict be sparked accidentally between China and the Philippines in the South China Sea in 2024?
The tendency, if there would be a conflict or a confrontation, especially when you talk about military one, is there, of course, because as you can see, there are skirmishes between our navies. People running the ships are humans, and usually humans are prone to error. So when you talk about the 2024, the South China Sea is expected to remain tense, with diplomatic and military affairs or efforts from regional and global players playing a critical role in shaping the future of the region.
The possibility of a conflict is not zero, but it is highly unlikely. The reason is, as I said before, China has full strength to stop any Filipino ships approaching this rusted ship if China wants, right? So even if you has it refurbished or decorated like a 5-star hotel, then we can stop people from getting into this hotel. And then the only question is, would the United States help Philippines, to do this? For example, like escorting Filipino ships, to provide materials, food, so on and so forth. I don't think so. I believe the United States has made it quite clear that it's in their own interest not to have a conflict with China. So while all of a sudden, because of a rusted, ship that is becoming more and more rusted, the United States decided to have a conflict with China.
The US already facing defeated by the Taliban in Afghanistan, by Russia in Ukraine, and by the Houthis recently in the Red Sea, is in absolutely no shape to take on China in the South China Sea. They can't afford something blowing up in an election year. I have enough faith in the maturity and the statesmanship of the Chinese government and the capacity of the PLA Navy not to limit any particular sort of skirmish.
But in the South China Sea, I believe the fact that the Filipinos opened 9 bases to the United States first comes from such a request. Otherwise, why would the Filipino government suddenly make such an offer? It's a request from the United States. And then the question is, why would the United States would ask for 9 bases? Is it about South China Sea? I don't think so, because China is not threatening to attack any ASEAN claimants. I can't think of a single reason why the Filipino government or Filipino people want to be involved. This shows really a kind of immaturity of the Filipino government. I'm sorry to say that, in such a decision making. Just think of this. While all of a sudden you would give 9 bases to the United States, we can easily stop that. Okay, you can try your best to refurbish the ship, but we stop you from getting access to the ship. Then this thing will just be over. Think about this.
The Philippines' stronger close relation with the United States, especially in the military, security, and defense under the current Marcos administration, the second Marcos administration, may have influenced and encouraged such a more assertive stand and posture vis-a-vis China. At this time, from my reading, I don't think the United States is prepared to or ready to have a head-on collision, military speaking, with China in the South China Sea or even in the Taiwan Strait. That's why it's used as a proxy, and my country is being used as a pawn or a proxy at this time. And I'm always worried that my country, the current government of my country under President Marcos Jr. would be an instrument to any kind of regional conflict that could lead to a global conflict.
The certain strategic patience is one of the things that characterizes ASEAN's dealings with China and with each other, actually. Even with the leader Deng Xiaoping, who said, let's leave certain issues that we can't solve now, territorial issues, for example, to a later generation. They could be wiser. But now, more than ever, the logic of that patience is borne out, because we're on the cusp of a very, very different new world order. The entire framework in which these problems are going to be addressed and solved is shifting.
People have been talking about ASEAN's centrality. Yeah, this centrality, however, is conditional. Yeah, because it rests upon balance of power, the balance of power by major powers. If the major powers come to a conflict, yes, then ASEAN is not central. It is, okay, it could be central, it is a central battlefield. Then ASEAN centrality would be totally gone.
Should war break out, ASEAN becomes a battlefield. And it gets drawn in as a proxy. And, Southeast Asia is at the center of what is potentially an Asian century. There will be no Asian century if this kind of behavior continues and we keep getting dragged back into these types of squabbles, these divide and rule things, which always end up with these proxies being decimated, actually, and the United States safe between the two great oceans, sort of walking away. You really have to stop playing these silly, games in which we end up as colonial proxies. So just at the moment when a really new order beckons, you see people all over the world, in Africa, right, in West Asia, South Africa, for example, waking up to these possibilities and asserting their sovereignty. And the Philippines, in the name of independence and sovereignty, these actions are actually bargaining them away.
And whatever happens in the South China Sea between the two countries, may it be a military confrontation for that matter, it's not only a problem between the Philippines and China. It would actually be a problem of the whole ASEAN region and the wider Asia Pacific. So I think that this will never happen at all in 2024 or in the coming years.